I planned for this video to be about how I upgraded my ks0 to the new 160 GHz firmware, but then I ran into an issue and I ended up downgrading. Stick around to the end to see what happened, but now on with the original video. Upgrading my ks0 to 160 GHz. Let's get started. The first thing we need is a new power supply, something bigger than 120 watt. This is a 180 watt model. For those people in New Zealand, I'll leave a link to PBTech in the bottom. The power supply needs to be 19.5 volts. And you need a plug that's got a 5.5mm outside diameter and a 2.5mm inside diameter. You need a power supply that has the center tip being positive. So you want to look for this symbol on your power supply going this way, positive to center tip.
Now we head over to the Insider Threat GitHub. I find it kind of ironic that it's called Insider Threat and we're installing this firmware on an ASIC on the inside of our network. Hopefully he's not a threat from the inside. This has been released on the basis of donate. I've got a ks0, so I'm going to dive under the ks0 section here, then dive into the file section. So there's a file here that lifts it up to 160 gigahash. 140 gigahash and 120 gigahash. This is pure silicon lottery. I'm going to try the 160 gigahash one first. If that doesn't work, then I'll have to drop back to the slower 140 gigahash. We simply click on the file, then you got to click on the raw button over here, and then this will then download it to your machine. Then head over to your ks0, click on firmware upgrade, and we'll select that file that we've just downloaded. Now we simply say update. After maybe a minute, it came back and it said the operation succeeded and we need to reboot it. I've been running with the update for around a day or so now. A couple of things I've had to do. I had to turn the fan speed up to maximum. It got up to 70 degrees Celsius and I wasn't sure if that was too hot, but when I turn it up to maximum the temperature drops to 65 degrees. Now it took around 1 to 2 hours to sort of ramp up the hash rate, and now it's kind of settled in around this 153 gigahash value, but the rejection rate, well, I think is quite high at 4%. When I head over to the pool, it's seeing rates, or it's averaging around 153 gigahash, and it sees rates going up and down. It's currently seeing around 171 gigahash. If you take that 153 gigahash and multiply that by 96%, then my real sort of hash rate is really 146 gigahash of accepted shares. So I'm thinking that's so close to 140 gigahash, I think I'll downgrade my ks0 to the 140 gigahash model and just see how that goes.
Before I downgrade the ks0, I thought I'd just check out the temperature, and it's running at a toasty 50.6 degrees Celsius. That's pretty hot.
So here we go again. 140 gigahash, go. After running for 16 hours, it seems to have settled in around at 135 gigahash. I'm still getting a full rejection rate of 2%, so that's half. The temperature is now only sitting at 57 degrees, so 60 degrees is common for a ks0, so this is actually running at normal temperatures.
I'm now seeing a reported temperature of around 44.5 degrees. That's a good 5 degrees cooler. After running my ks0 for another 3 more days, I've decided to stick with 140 gigahash firmware. It's not really known if the 160 gigahash firmware will affect the lifetime of the ks0 because of the increased temperatures. I like taking the small sacrifice and being able to run it at normal temperatures, and the hash rate drop hasn't been that big for my one. Silicon lottery, huh? I'm going to leave another video around my head somewhere. Hopefully that'll be another video you'll like to watch.